Man, this is a really bad time to forget how I start this show. I mean, I take a week off and I'm just gone. I have no idea what's happening. All right, here we go. I am Dynasty Outhouse, and I have a trading problem.
I am Rocky Petrella, and I also have a trading problem.
And now is when I go, hey, everybody, which is what I went to go right away. And I'm like, no, that's not right. That's not what I do. Welcome. Oh, no, I have the wrong Google. Man, why did you let me press the button when I wasn't ready, Rocky, at all?
I can't forget the time you weren't here, and I started with my Junkies intro.
You went with what you knew. That's what's important. Well, welcome to session. So you didn't even update the session number because last week was 266. Welcome to session 267 of the Trade Addicts podcast.
Yeah, I did the rest of the sheet, Russ.
Well, you didn't do all of it. A proud member of the Dynasty Addicts podcast network, the DAP network, if you will, and throw it up there. We just did. It is another week. It's June. It's slow and boring. Oh my! Like, come on, give us OTAs. Give us where's the hype articles and tweets? Like, there's OTAs going on right now, isn't there? Like, we need real preseason. We need all these but you see that video? Find Mahomes throwing that deep ball and Justin Ross over the shoulder. Yes. Like, that first video was nice because it actually showed that he was playing football, but that was not a good catch. Like, he fingertipped that, like the back of the ball. This one, bucket. What's even awesomer is I got a trade offer today, and I don't remember what it was. All I did was counter and add Justin Ross to their side for me to get Justin Ross, and they rejected it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Now your Justin Ross live finally coming to fruition, Russ.
Yes. And it doesn't even matter that we are live. Frank is here to save my hide because Brees going over 20 miles per hour or whatever it wasn't hype enough. How did I miss that? You know, this real work thing getting in the way is really unappreciated. Like, I miss just being able to sit on Twitter all day. Like, I hate having real work to do during the day. This is crap. I need a new job. Or not a job. I need no job. I need not to have a job so I could just do nothing all day. You think my wife will go for that?
Your job can just be the podcast.
Yeah. I do it enough already.
I know. Exactly. You already have so many as it is. You might as well, make it full time.
Yeah, and especially now that we are doing fantasy care stuff like every freaking day. So if you are watching this, listening to this, whatever you're doing with this, and you don't subscribe to the Fantasy Cares YouTube channel, you should absolutely do that after you subscribe to this one, of course, because we have daily giveaways at this point, at least weekdays, because we are just, come on, 5 days in a row is enough. Calm down. And make sure you follow the @FantasyCaresOrg on Twitter and every other social media, and @Fishbowl Merch, because so many giveaway spots that it's just every day we're giving multiple spots away. So keep checking on that. And in my tweet, when I sent out saying, hey, what are your questions? What should we talk about? I asked, what division are you in? And then Rocky, of course, tells me before we start recording, if you're going to ask what division I'm in, I still haven't picked yet. And I'm like, great, I'm going to point this out and give you crap for it anyway.
I was looking today before you even put the tweet out. I thought of it and was trying to scroll.
Pick already.
Well, the one I would have picked there's already had 12 people, which was the banana stand from Arrested Development. Yeah. The Bluth banana stand. But so I would have auto picked that if it was available, but it was not.
Are you going to go to the Philly Live stuff?
I want to so bad. I was gonna mention that I signed up for it. It's like as soon as Scott put out a while back, trying to get a head count and all that, and I put that I would be attending even if I wasn't picked and all that good stuff. And then I realized afterwards, my wife booked a vacation down the Jersey Shore from the 6th to the 10th, and the draft is on July 9th. But
you know how close Philly is to the Jersey Shore, right?
I know it's not close enough. It's like a 2-hour drive, Russ.
No.
Yes. It's
an hour and a half at most. Hour and 40 minutes, I will give you.
Maybe from where you are in central Jersey or wherever you are. But
Philly is an hour from me, and the shore is about 35 minutes from me. If you ride that hypotenuse, that is less
All I know is the drive to Wildwood takes us a good hour 50 to 2 hours. So my wife is not going to be up for that in the middle of our vacation. The last day of our full day of our vacation, because we're checking out on the 10th. I don't think she's going to be good with me taking a 2 hour drive up to Philly.
All right, everybody who's watching, take a good look at Rocky. And if you look like him and can talk like him, let us know. We will pay you money to go be a double on his vacation so he can go to Philly and drive.
You have to parent my kids for like half a day.
Half of them are teenagers and up.
Two of them are in college. So yeah.
There's nothing you got to worry about on that one. You got that. Ugh. So okay, let's go. Let's get into stuff, and then I can complain about you not making decisions later. All right. So, well, we don't have a guest. So, Rocky, do you want to do trades first, or you want to do listener questions first?
Oh God, you're gonna ask me. Let's get the trades out of the way. We don't have that many, and one of them is not even that big of a trade. So let's do them.
So you want to do the trades first?
Yeah, get them out of the way
because they're bad.
There's few, yes.
All right, so let's start in Trade Addicts 1, where Michael Pittman got traded for a 25 first. And clearly, I mean, I have been on record on this show many, many times having given a 24 first for Michael Pittman. So I will take Michael Pittman here. A 25 is just so far away, and I don't. I'll take Pittman. I know we're talking about a quarterback that A, isn't necessarily known for his throwing, and B, rookie quarterbacks never really top 24 wide receiver, supporting a top 24 wide receiver. Way to not jump in there and help me.
Sorry, Rocky. I was looking at something here, and I didn't know where you were going with that. Sorry.
Right here. Look at these big Browns. That's where you got to be looking this whole time.
It was show related, Russ. It was show related.
Sure, it was. So I don't care about that because Pittman's still only 26, and I think he's very, very good and has done very, very good with very mediocre quarterbacking. I will not let go to the fact of how well he did with Carson Wentz, and he didn't do terribly with the falling apart body of Matt Ryan. So if we can get 1 year of okay out of the way, and if Anthony Richardson just gets a little bit better, if he's good and then gets a little bit better, I think we could be seeing very good Michael Pittman, and I will gladly pay a 25 first for Michael Pittman.
Yeah, I thought this was the when I saw this come through, I thought this was the perfect offer for him. Personally, because I think he's totally worth a 2024 first. I think most people would say he probably is, but I'm not sure I want to pay a 2024 first. So 2025 is perfect. I'm like you said, I'm a little worried about the whole Richardson thing. I was just catching up on late round QB, the Late Round QB podcast, and JJ went back to his study about how poorly guys do with rookie quarterbacks. So we're probably not getting a great, as you just mentioned, and we're probably not getting a great year out of Michael Pittman this year. And he's been good, but not great so far anyway. So
24 first, are you expecting a top 10, 15 wide receiver? Probably not.
I don't know if I'm expecting a top 10, 15 wide receiver from Michael Pittman, though.
Well, it's just what I'm saying. At that price that you're paying, I don't think that's something you're expecting. Paying a 24 first, I think you'd be happy with wide receiver 24.
Well, that's why I love this trade for a 2025 first, though, because I don't value them as highly as a 24 first. And this is actually, we were talking about before the show, good lead into a trade I was talking to you about.
Oh, yeah, let's go from last week's guest. In the chat, Tyler's here. And he says, I might trade Michael Pittman to a certain dynasty outhouse for a 25 first plus something. No, I said 25 first.
You did say something small.
Doesn't respond to my trade, other trade offers.
And that's this trade that I'm talking about, which I did pull up here somewhere.
And then you lost it already.
No, I have it. So Tyler's offering me a Michael Pittman and a 2024 first. This is in TA8 where I have a contending team. It's probably on its last legs, but I still like to believe it's contending.
No, I'm going to win that league, so don't.
And he's offering me he's asking for Brock Purdy, Chig Okonkwo, a 25 second, and a 25 third.
For Pittman?
Yes.
So here's my issue. I have been screaming from the rooftops that I'm now scared that Lance isn't going to start the season. And if Lance doesn't start the season, it's Brock Purdy time for real, unless
Brock
he
Purdy
re-injures
good
his
though?
elbow. I don't think it matters. Like, that should be your jam, right? Like, especially at this valuation, which isn't big. You know, this is less than a 24 first, so why not wait until he starts and he'll be worth a 24 first when he averages like 17 points per game, but the Niners keep winning. Like, I think that's one of the big things. Like, everyone was like, Brock Purdy, Brock Purdy, Brock Purdy. And then I could do this because we're live on YouTube. I'm doing hand motions and I could just do that without speaking. And he still was averaging 16, 17 fantasy points per game, but they kept winning and they were doing well. And he did it in a very different way that the rest of the San Francisco quarterbacks had. So they got really, really hyped up, but he still wasn't that great for fantasy. So I still think, like, the second he's announced the starter, you get a first for him alone. And not that a 25-second third and Chigakonkwo, I mean, for all the excitement we have about Chigakonkwo, he'll be all right, but it's still just all right.
Yeah, the Purdy of it is what's holding me up on it. Like exactly what you said. If I still believe Lance is going to be the starter, but if I'm wrong and he's not, then yeah, this is kind of devaluing Purdy.
I mean, if it's close, it is a little bit. If it's close to you, maybe I counter without the 25-second. But again, it's a 25 pick. Like, I would rather find something else to swap. If you have like, I know. See, the problem is the ridiculous ageist that Tyler is. I was going to say, if you have like Baker Mayfield, like some other okay starting quarterback that someone can play for a year, and swap them out for Purdy, which again completely changes the reason for the trade. But that unless you're cool with taking away the 25-second or swapping someone else instead of Purdy, sorry, Tyler, I reject that.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where and that he's been giving me some form of this deal like for like weeks too, and I've just been I've not been one. We just can't agree on it, and for some context too. This is not surprising for a me team, but my only other quarterbacks are Matthew Stafford and Ryan Tannehill too.
That's worrisome. So you and again, it's not that there's fantasy point upside in Brock Purdy, but there might be a value spike upside. You might need that to be able to flip like Purdy and Stafford for someone else down the line.
Yeah. So I guess I
have your boy Cousins. I'm just saying.
Well, there you go.
I mean, I don't want any of what you got, but
when Purdy starts, I can trade you Purdy and Chig for Cousins.
No, because I need to beat you because I want to win a Trade Addicts League again. I did it once and I need to do it again. I know I did it. At this point, it was like 2-3 years ago, but like I did it and now I could say I did it, but that's not enough. I want to do it again.
I haven't been in them as long as you, especially all of them, but I still haven't won one, so I need to beat you.
Well, you could win one. I was about to say you could win one I'm not in, but I am in all of them. You could win one I'm not competing in. How about that?
Okay.
Oh, like I don't know what your teams in like 4 or 5 are.
You're not competing in 9, right?
No, you can go in 9.
Okay, I'll win 9.
All yours.
My team's pretty loaded up in there. So
excellent. All right, let's. It's felt like I pulled up my TA team to say, all right, like, what if I care about any of this? Let me see if I can get in on that. But the next one we have, speaking of, you just said Ryan Tannehill in Trade Addicts 10, Ryan Tannehill for Chase Brown in a 24-second. Tannehill's starting, right? Like
he's starting the year. Yes, I do worry he's not finished. I don't think Tennessee's going to be good this year, so that's going to be a problem.
They have Derrick Henry. They're not going to be too bad. Like that offense was not good, but it didn't matter because Derrick Henry still runs for 200 yards and a touchdown and a half every single game. You know, so I absolutely think that they'll be okay enough. And the thing is, what's that offense going to be? Like, I have no idea what that offense is going to look like. And that's, I think, why you keep Tannehill in there, because he's good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
and it's Traylon
I
Burks
will
is a
not
bunch
go
of guys.
higher than that. I'm willing to go a little lower if necessary.
He's competent.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so you keep him in there so you could figure out what everything else is. And then if you get towards the end of the season and like, we've won a couple of games, but we need to, get a better draft pick spot. Then you throw Levis in there just to see what he can do besides throw the ball really far. We know he can do that. Why are you throwing at the combine? I got a cannon. Serious, like my respect level for him went up the second I heard that. That's just wonderful. And
That
then
is a
the
nice.
whole,
That is a great quote.
I know it was a joke. I don't care. The mayo and the coffee, and then
Oh
eating the
God.
banana, like peel and all. Like animals don't even do that, man. We're evolved. We shouldn't need to be doing that. Okay, so seeing as how Tannehill is starting, if my team is bad, like at no point in any world are you getting a first for Tannehill anymore. Even
No.
like even when he starts the season, like we assume he is, if he actually does, it doesn't matter. I guess I would wish it was something a little better than Chase Brown, but if push comes to shove and I want to like kick a rebuild and I get this sitting there, all right, let's just sure. I want that hell off my team because it just annoys me seeing him there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. If it honestly, if I'm contending, I don't know that I even want to trade for Tannehill. I would just try and aim higher or just pay less for like, I don't know,
Yeah.
Jimmy
Well, how much?
Garoppolo. Well, no, he's even worth more. Baker Mayfield or something.
Like how much on top of like how much more valuable than Chase Brown do you think you need to go to get like Derek Carr? I mean, I would have used to say
Yeah.
Garoppolo, but he has that whole weird foot thing going on.
Yeah,
That,
which we talked about last week.
like
But
those
yeah,
low
it's not
level
a crazy
starters
amount
that
higher. Yeah,
should you like exactly, which is
like you
why
can't expect a first for. I don't. I wouldn't necessarily expect a first for Derek Carr.
no, I right now no. If we hit season week 2 and he's putting up like 19 and 21 points,
Yeah, maybe.
I would go to those better teams and be like, look at those scores. I get it. He's still Derek Carr, but look at those scores. And you're like, you're going to win. It's just going to be the 112 anyway. And then hopefully he goes back to scoring 16 points and you just get to laugh that you got the good value on that trade.
Yeah, so you're maybe getting like this is like a second and a third, like this,
Yeah.
the equivalent of that. So maybe you're getting 2 seconds for Carr, or more likely like something like this, where a player who's worth a second and a second or something like that for Carr. So yeah, I would rather just pay up a little more than that, than actually buy Tannehill at this point, because like I said, I do have concerns he may not go the whole year. So I would gladly take this if I rostered Tannehill and I was not contending, or even if I had 2 good enough quarterbacks or 3 solid quarterbacks besides Tannehill, I'd be fine with this.
So as we were talking, I open up DLF because I figure, we run a little shorter. We'll play our favorite little game of, doing some ADP crawling, and then like one of the first headlines, Brock Purdy the starter, and I'm like, all right, DLF, why are you trolling me right now? Purdy has graduated in his rehab to throwing a football, and that's a name I can't pronounce. Says that the real indication is the tone of voice used by head coach Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch when speaking about the situation. So it seems like they're thinking he's going to be ready. And that
Lynch just said he's the starter if he's ready. I'm gonna have to see it to believe it.
Yes, but like I had always been ready to be. It doesn't matter. Like no, the dude's getting elbow surgery and then needs to start throwing in the NFL. Like remember, like I get it. Ben Roethlisberger was like 47 and 600 pounds when he got his elbow surgery, so he probably healed a little slower and took more to actually build that muscle back up. But he still looked really bad for a while after coming. Like it took like a good over 12 months, it looked like, to get any throwing strength back. Purdy just happens to be, 16 and in better shape and got I think a better surgery than Roethlisberger. And he's just apparently going to be ready to go. And science is just magic at this point. I think that's really what I'm getting out of this. Like, I can't remember who said it, but like magic is just science you don't understand yet. And I don't understand this. So this is just pure magic.
I don't know how much attention you pay to baseball, but I know the Phillies, Bryce Harper. I think I forget if it was his ACL or he did something where he's expected to be out like 9 to 11 months, and he was back in like 5.5. Like he was not supposed to start the season. He's supposed to be back by like mid-season. Like medicine has gotten ridiculous at this point. Like I think we have to like throw out our old views of exactly when guys are supposed to be. Like, at this point, Kyler Murray is going to be starting week 1 or something.
Yeah, seriously, right? No, he'll like start week 2 because like no, he's not starting the season. Well, we weren't wrong. Okay, so the last trade we do have is Trade Addicts 11, and I will be 100% honest. This was just a board trade. I'm not going to lie. I was sent Bryce Young, and it may have been Chig Okonkwo. It was someone. Like I think it was Chig, or either that or we're talking about him so much, for CeeDee Lamb. And the more I look at my TA11 team that we drafted this non-point scoring season, the more I just hate it. So I'm just like, I'll rebuild. That's cool because I already have Stroud on my team. So I'm like, cool, I have Stroud and Young now. But no, that's not enough. So I go and I'm like, you know what? I don't have my just in case share of Dalton Kincaid. So I countered CeeDee Lamb for Bryce Young and Dalton Kincaid, and it got accepted. I was honestly a little surprised. I feel like this is pretty close to even. I feel like Young is in a super flex startup, probably close to the end of the second. CeeDee Lamb going at that first turn. Kincaid being a mid-first in the TA leagues felt okay. And I'm getting the quarterback and they aren't. So it was good enough for me to say yes, even while doing board trades and not feel bad about it. And that's good enough for me.
So wait, you gave up CD or you got CD?
I gave up CD.
Okay. Yeah, I mean this is basically CD for the 103 and 108 essentially.
Well, if you want to be smart and explicit about it, yes, it is. Thanks, Rock.
But the reason I ask is
Evan, he was the 107 in TA.
Okay, well, even better than to prove. I mean, I think CeeDee Lamb should net you 2 firsts. So I think it's a pretty like 2 good firsts. So I think it's a pretty fair trade. I'm not sure which side I'd rather have because I like CD a lot. I don't like Dalton Kincaid a lot, but I do like Bryce Young. I think it's really fair. I think I would go with CD just because I do think he takes that step up this year. I think we're finally going to see him, consistent wide receiver 1. I mean, I think he did. Did he sneak in there last year? I forget. I think he sneaked in low end wide
points per game.
Yeah, not even low end already. Yeah. So, and I think we're going to see that, going forward, especially with the, it's basically all him now. They have added Brandon Cooks, but
it's all him now.
And, we don't want to what Bryce Young's going to be. And I'm not a big Kincaid guy like the way a lot of people are. I think people are overrating Kincaid. So
I would be very surprised if he's on my team by the time the season starts.
Yeah. So I think this is a fair deal, but I think I would lean the CD side slightly. But I think it's super fair.
Yeah, and I completely get it. And honestly, CeeDee Lamb is probably the right answer. But as anyone who listens to the show knows, I run on a very strict do as I say, not as I do policy. Because I will do things that might not be the right answer because I want to and I'm bored.
By the way, Russ, because he was in the chat and listening to us, Tyler has sent me another offer in TAA.
What did he send?
Michael Pittman for Chig and a 25 first. If you tell me to do it, I'll do it.
Yeah, I do it.
Okay, here we go. I did say I like the 25 first. Chig is a little more than I would have liked to add. I am a fan of Okonkwo, but that offense, like we talked about, could be kind of a dumpster fire. I think, like maybe not dumpster fire, but not exciting. I'm not as sure about Henry as I think you are. I mean, the dude is like 30 now, right? 29, 30. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. He's Derrick Henry. That man is not human. He will be bad when he decides not to be good anymore. Or when his human frame can no longer withstand the superhuman things it does.
You mean his cyborg frame? Or
well, I'm not ready to say he's part machine. It might be part extraterrestrial, part demigod,
There
part
you go.
something. I don't know. I just know it's not all human. It can't be. I don't know.
Well, there you go. We got a fourth TA trade this week. I'm now the proud manager of Michael Pittman chair.
Yeah, I think in general, I don't. If we have a trade that is involving firsts and players that we really like, I don't think even in the 0.75 premium, I don't think a Conquo is enough for me to turn something down because of it. Like it could be one of those. Well, I'll counter and ask for a third if I really felt like it, but like,
yeah. And knowing Tyler, I wasn't getting that third anyway. So
yeah, he probably wouldn't. I mean, we don't have fifths anymore, but he probably wouldn't even give you a fifth.
Yeah, and in the chat, he just said he finally has a tight end.
Yeah. Overrated. All right, so let's move on to the listener questions. And whoops. Trade Addicts leagues are 12-team Superflex PPR tight end premium with 1.75 points per tight end reception and 0.05 points for return yardage, except for TA1. Whoops. Okay. Listener questions at Geronimo Rambles. I haven't even tried doing Scott Fishbowl. No reason besides my laziness. Who is the player the industry loves but you don't like? And we both already just said Kincaid. But also I replied to his tweet saying, I don't think you'd get into SFB anyway. It just wouldn't be good for the brand. David's awesome, but some people have a filter on what they say. Not so much for Mr. Geronimo Rambles.
I would also add Anthony Richardson. I think everyone else is way higher. I get the upside. He scares me way more than he scares, I think, most of the fantasy community. They're just looking at that upside and don't care that he might totally suck. And but as long as he's able to run, like I get that. I've been there with, like I said that with Lance, like after Hurts's year a couple years ago when he wasn't, not even when he was QB like 3 or whatever it was last year, but the year before that when he wasn't as great of a passer but still was a very good fantasy option. I kind of that's kind of when I got in the Lance train, but I think he was playing against weaker competition, but I think Lance looked better on film, had better stats. Against the Division 2 level, but Anthony Richardson, I just had this horrible feeling he is not going to be a very good passer, and everyone's just like overlooking that.
Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Let me point out the 2 biggest outliers there are. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Well,
so that's just going to happen every time we have an athletic guy that's like has horrible accuracy in college. He's automatically going to become.
Are you kidding? Just like everyone starts crapping on 3rd-round quarterbacks. I'm like Russell Wilson. Hello, the one dude. Oh, and Dak Prescott. But like, okay, but like about Richardson, my thing with him is in rookie drafts, I am fine spending the 102 on him. People taking him over Bijan. Good for you. That's scary. But like it's a rookie draft. You're not really depending on building your team with 1 pick in the rookie draft. And in the 102 in a rookie draft, like that's where you take your risks. That's where you shoot for upside, where your team, if you earn the 102, you're like, all right, well, my team's really, 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 really bad. What do I need? If it's a super flex league, either A, you need a quarterback, or B, you need something that has the opportunity to just bolster value, just pure skyrocket. And Anthony Richardson is that. Yes, absolutely. He has the chance to be worth not nothing because he's a quarterback in a super flex. Like maybe you get a late first for him next year if he just flames out this season. But I'm okay with that in a rookie draft. I'm absolutely okay. Like, think about the amount of 102s that we thought were going to be good that flamed out or just like didn't turn into anything. Like, I will go back, let's talk about 2016 and make me cry all over again, where it doesn't matter who you picked between Laquan Treadwell, Josh Doxson, Corey Coleman. There were so many people there that we thought would at least just be good. Laquan Treadwell was the next Michael Irvin said Laquan Treadwell was the next Michael Irvin. Like, right, that was not my dude. Like I traded down to the 103 so I can alternate taking Dotson and Coleman.
Yes.
There was no right answer because they were all wrong. But like, so why not use that pick and just be like, sure, let me take this risk that just can go. And again, it's a quarterback. So like if he puts up 14, 15 points per game and does 90% of it on his legs, and we can talk ourselves into, well, Hurts and Allen got better from year 1 to year 2. Lamar Jackson, every year he threw the ball, he kept getting better. Maybe he'll walk in, he'll be used to the offense, he'll be used to the speed of the NFL. There's wonderful things we can say to ourselves to talk ourselves into giving a guy a second shot, especially if we came in liking him in the first place. So I don't think his value falls out of the first.
You're probably right, but I want to hit on those super high first round picks. So that's why I lean Young and Stroud even over him. Yeah.
I get it. I 100% get it. It is the safe and maybe the smart move. I haven't decided yet. I'm
the only one that like is making it. Like everyone has Richardson the 102.
Yeah, I'm relatively risk averse when it comes to my teams, but for some reason the idea, like, I have been taking Richardson over the other two.
Yeah, I have one share Richardson. That's in a team I co-manage with Scott Sidlow, or else I probably wouldn't have him there either. So,
yeah, one of them is really, 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 really bad. So again, I did it because I need either a quarterback that I can play, or B, a guy who's going to spike in value that I could trade away for more than the 102. And the other one, I think, was just a good team where I ended up trading for first for the heck of it. And I'm like, all right, well, my team's really good. My quarterbacks are very Rocky level, so maybe this guy helps me out.
And
one of those things.
And mine was on the team with Sidlow. It's a very, very bad. It's a 14-team league. It's a very poor team, and we could definitely use the value boost if he does hit.
Yeah, even more in a 14-team. Why did everyone just go away?
You there?
So my power saver went on, even though everything's streamed. Like my monitor just turned off. What the heck, computer? All right,
that is weird.
That is weird. All right, so I guess every once in a while I need to move the mouse around. But even like in a 14-team league, especially, that makes me want to push up Richardson. Again, You're right. Playing safe, you're getting a QB that you are more comfortable will be starting, and any quarterback in the 14-team league that's starting does get that value bump because it's supply and demand. But
and he will almost certainly be worth the first at the end of the year too. So
a good, like, imagine what Jalen Hurts was like year 2, and that's with they're going to replace him. Not going around, like, they're not replacing Anthony Richardson anytime soon. So like I just that the ability of that incline. But all of that being said, in a startup, I want nothing to do with Richardson at his price. Even if I'm like productive struggling, I still think there's better ways to go about it. Like, I've seen him in a lot of mock drafts that I'm doing. The only mock draft, because I do like for DLF, I think I'm doing like 4 right now. The only time I grabbed him was in a 1 quarterback mock in like the 13th round. I'm like, yeah, no, this cool. I'll take this, but he goes in like the 2nd round of Superflex. That's a lot. That's rich for me. I can't do that.
Are there any like existing players that the industry loves but you don't like?
I know we just went for 2 rookies, and I can't really think of anyone else. Like, see, this is when we need a guest so other people can vamp while we start talking, like looking at things.
I know.
Not really. Like, I don't think there's anyone I'm not like in on. Like, I don't think there's anyone that I would see and just be like, no, I don't want that guy on my team. Short of people for personal reasons. Like, I don't think there's any player that I'm just like, oh, everyone likes this guy, and I just don't think that's it. I'm trying to scroll and find.
I know. Someone. I'm trying to scroll too, and I'm looking through the ADP.
I mean, I know it's related to what we just talked about. I wonder if the Gabe Davis people are still Gabe Davis people. Like, is he pushed down to the pass catcher 3 on that team now that Kincaid's there, or is it just completely different? I know a lot of people bumped up DJ Moore after that trade, and we've talked about it a bunch. I don't think his value changed. So if that comes with a bump to it, then I'm just not there for that.
He's wide receiver 23 in May ADP.
No, that's not bad. That's like I said. No. I guess I don't really have anyone that I'm not. Oh, so instead of looking at rosters, I should be looking at ADP. That would really be a lot.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Kenneth Walker was RB7 in May. That's high because this took place
Yeah, that's
after.
after the draft. Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I was never really in on Kenneth Walker being ranked that high in general, especially after even even if we think that Charbonnet is 1B in that situation, there's a 1B where there wasn't one before. Like, so like, and this is the kind of guy who needs that volume. It's just like why you never take Derrick Henry or you never took Marshawn Lynch off the field. It's one of those guys where, Adrian Peterson, well, one of two things. First of all, defenses get tired. Second of all, like they build up that momentum, they build up that excitement. And three, because they're the kind of runners that it's just like 2 yards, 2 yards, 5 yards, 2 yards, 6 yards, 2 yards, 2 yards, 37-yard touchdown. And that's where the fantasy points come from. Like, so it's a little worrisome having Kenneth Walker come off the field at all. But no, I think that's really it. Like, I'm sitting here scrolling down ADP and there's no one. I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, there's no. I'm not seeing what's super. Like I have the running backs up now. Like Rashad White is RB17. Like I don't really like him. I can't quote them, but that's not that high, right? That's the thing. It's
like,
not like
I'm
people
even looking
love him.
Pollard's running back 12, and I'm good with that. Like, I'm very anti-Pollard in general, and with no backing whatsoever. So anyone listening and watching who's getting mad at me for saying that, I will 100% claim I have no reason. But I just, but at RB12, yeah, sure. Like, that's Ramondre Stevenson at RB13. I even like him there. Nick Chubb at RB14. I love that. Yeah. Like, Dobbins at 15. All right, maybe I'm trading for high-end running back twos. I mean,
I'm trying to find some. Like,
that's pretty much what I do in general.
Drake London's at wide receiver 11, which I don't love London, but I don't hate him. Like I think he maybe should be a little lower than that, but yeah, I'm not like, and it's not like that's crazy love wide receiver 11. It's the age and he did have a good end of the year. So.
All right, so let's move on to at OGV Fantasy, who asks, is Kyler Murray a trade for or a trade away? Yes. I mean, honestly, he's more of a trade for me these days because the price is getting kind of low. And no matter what you believe, that if they're crashing for Caleb or whatever, man, Tua just made it so easy. Tanking for Tua. It was just like, that's it. Suck for luck. So easy.
I know. There's no good one for Caleb Williams.
Yeah. So, like, okay, we aren't really expecting top-end Kyler this season pretty much anyway. So if they trade him away, if he goes somewhere else, if whatever, he's going to be himself at the beginning of next season. So if you can get him for, like, I've seen him go for, like, 104s in Superflex League. Lose for Lawrence. I'll take that, Kyle. Like, that seems like really, really good value for a guy who's lowest finish was like he had one QB9 finish per game, but the rest of them are like 3 to 6. Like he scores fantasy points. I get it. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but right now, if I had collapse for Caleb, that's getting better. That's for Williams.
I love that.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you. Thank you. Woof for Williams. That's mine from now on. I'm
using that for the next year.
Yeah. But yes, like I think honestly, and I traded Kyler away for like what was it, like the 102 and 202 a couple of months ago,
something like that. Yeah,
and it felt good. And then it was really funny because Peter was thrilled with the value he got out of that. So like I really like if you have patience. And we all know that's not me. I think Kyler's a great whiff for Williams is probably a lot better than woof for Williams. All right.
I think woof for Williams is more fun.
Yeah, woof for Williams is woof. So honestly, like I think Kyler's a trade for, and of course it always depends on what the actual trade is. But if you have patience, holding on to Kyler will just make your team so good without doing much right now. Like,
I'd like to be able to ramble on about this, but I feel like I've answered this question like 5 times since the season ended because I've been touting Kyler as a buy. And you said basically all the reasons why. Again, I mean, you have to be willing to take the hit that from if you're a super top 2 contending team, I can see you not wanting to do it. You have to be willing to take the points hit. I know some people have said he may not. They worry he may not come back the whole year. I don't think that's going to happen. Guys rarely miss a whole year if they don't have to. I don't think he's going to medically have to. They might say he.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, if he misses the season, it's because he's getting shelved and because they don't want to win.
But I even then I don't think they're going to do that. Guy, you hardly ever see that. Even on bad, you hardly ever see guys miss an entire year after going out before the end of the season the previous year. Like that almost never happens. So I still don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to shelve him, but it's a possibility. But I think he's just cheap enough that it's just so worth. Like I've said many times before, it's not just for me about buying old cheap quarterbacks, which is what everybody kind of tries to lump me into. It's buying undervalued.
Fun to make fun of you for it,
yes.
Because you do just happen to have Cousins as your favorite.
Yes, but it's about buying undervalued quarterbacks, and a lot of those just happen to be the old producing guys.
Yeah.
But also guys like this. I've said it before. Jalen Hurts. I have a lot of Jalen Hurts because I was buying him at QB 11, 12 prices, a year ago or more. Thinking that he could be this QB, 2-3 area that he's in now. So, and that's really how I view Kyler, that you're getting like QB 12 prices. Some people just don't want it. So you just don't like him too. Like he's, the Call of Duty thing and all that. So, and just, they don't like the way he looks when he's on the sidelines and stuff like that. They like, and he's going to be replaced because they're going to be so bad this year. He's going to be replaced, Russ.
He's going to be replaced. Yes,
they're going to move on from Kyler. So I think there's just a lot of stuff that goes into it, and then you add the injury on top of it. So he's definitely like the cheapest guy that has top 5 potential that you can get and have been able to get for a little while, I think.
All right, next question is at Gareth Summers 13. Would you trade away Pollard for Javonte and an early 24 second? What are your feelings on Javonte right now?
I have been, and I think I still am, higher on Javonte than most people are. I guess it's maybe getting a little higher with him getting closer to returning. And I guess with the addition of Peyton and the hope that the offense will be better and all that. And they added Pirine, which he's a solid little player, but they haven't added something super significant beyond that.
Oh, see, I just love Pirine as because I don't think Javonte's starting the season. So
yeah, I mean that is a worry, obviously, but I can't get over I just love the talent, and he's never gonna have a full like workhorse role. But I do think if he can be more of a 1A. I mean, that's the issue. He's going to be this year. He's going to be more of a 1B, probably even when he comes back, just because, or at least 50-50, even to Pirine, because he's probably not starting the year. They're going to work him back in slowly. But the hope is that it's a better offense. And he's still going to be super young. I know he's going to be, into his 4th year of his contract? Not this year, next year. Like
21, right? 21, 22, 23.
Because you're not really expecting a great year from him at best until 24 is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So even this year, if he does well, you're thrilled, but you're not expecting a high end year. So at best, but even next year, I mean, I think he's like Josh Jacobs. He came in the league at like 20 or something like that. So he's going to be like even at the 24, maybe going into 25 at the end of his rookie deal. So I still think if you buy him now, you can still get multiple good years out of him, even if you assume this year is a wash. And like I said, I've just always loved the talent. So I think I would do it, but I would have to be, and it's weird to be buying, buying a running back on a team that you're not expecting to contend, but maybe a team that's a year away. I think it would have to be like, it makes more sense because Pollard is a little older.
Javonte is 23.0 right now, so he will be exactly 24 heading into next season.
Okay, yeah, and then he'll be a free agent won't even be 25 until almost the following season when he starts playing.
Yeah. So I think I'm completely with Rocky and everything he said. I'm terrified for Javonte this season. I was another player that I was never as high on just because he was one of those guys with, at the time, DeAndre Swift, where it was just crap. There's no real young, good running backs right now.
Yeah.
They're going to artificially get boosted. And Javonte was like the running back 2 for a while when he hadn't really played much.
After year 1, despite not having a great year, he was worth like 2 first plus.
Yeah. So now that he's at a reasonable price, I wish he wasn't as hurt as he is, but that's the only reason his price fell anyway. But like, if I'm sitting here now and my team's not good, and I see this trade, and you're right, like if I have my wide receivers and one young quarterback, and I'm like, all right, I'll probably end up with like the 1-5, 1-6. I'm not going to make the playoffs, but I'll have a decent spot, which means that's a very good point. Happy birthday, Javonte, if you're exactly 23 points. Thank you, Kyle, for pointing out I'm a bad human being. I'm glad you're here. Then, yeah, like, and getting Javonte for your ready the year after, and also getting a 24-second, which isn't nothing. And again, while you're in rookie drafts, the second isn't necessarily guaranteed anything, but there's such good trade chips. Like, you could turn around, hold Javonte on your team, and then wide receiver in a 24-second to upgrade wide receiver. Or, like if you have like Desmond Ridder on your team, you go Ridder in the second to get a little younger with a little more upside. Like, I think it's a good value trade for trading away Pollard, even though, again, my valuation on Pollard is weird. I don't know, but this still feels good. Like, I feel good about it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think I do this if I'm not competing. If you're competing, you hold on to Pollard and just let him score you points, because he will. I mean, there's no one else there to do it. And regardless of what that team is, because of the new offensive coordinator and all of that stuff, and McCarthy calling plays or whatever we're upset about these days for the Cowboys, he's still their running back at this point, and the Cowboys running back will always get the ball a lot, if nothing else. So, like, Pollard is worth being on your team if you're competing. But if not, I like this trade.
But by the way, I was just going to say, if anyone was curious like I was, Javonte's birthday was actually about 6 weeks ago.
6 weeks ago?
April 25th, 2000.
DLF, that is at least 23.1. You're making me look bad. I don't appreciate it. So the last question we have is at FF Tommy B. First, he says, Pringles, baby. Finally, someone letting me know what division they're in. What is the difference this offseason compared to last, and what are you doing to adapt? Do you see differences in off seasons, in non-point scoring seasons? Tommy, look what you made me do. I don't like you right now.
I couldn't really think of anything in specific. That it's just like, yeah, they're kind of, all the same to me. We run into rookie season, and then we run into startup season, and
yeah, it's not necessarily is this year different from last year. It's the trends that are happening in the league.
I was just gonna say things gradually tend to change more over time. Like the whole, maybe you could even argue this happened in almost one non-point scoring season, but a couple years ago when quarterbacks just like everyone decided to realize that quarterbacks mean so much in Superflex, and then 11 of them were going in first rounds. Like when I started playing Dynasty, like majorly in like 10, 15, 20 leagues, like got into TA3 2018, I think it was. Like,
sounds about right.
Yeah, we were drafting like 4 quarterbacks in the first round, and you could, the rest of them were. What I was doing was even easier back then, because you could get quarterbacks all over the place. And then so gradually since then, in the last 5 years, it's been shooting up higher and higher. And like I said, like I think we're still at a point where people are drafting 9, 10 at least quarterbacks in the first round. Maybe 9 is more like it. Jefferson, Chase. Maybe throw a running back in there or something.
Jefferson, Chase, Bijan. That's probably.
Yeah.
I think we're going to end up like, I think we have. Let's see how far because I'm in one super flex mock. Let's see.
But in 2018, 9 quarterbacks in the first round would have seemed crazy.
Yes, that is absolutely true. Here we go. Allen, Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow, Herbert, Jackson. That sounds weird. Lamar, because Jackson, I have no idea who I'm talking about. Oh, Lamar. I know that guy. Justin Jefferson, Justin Fields, Kyler at the 110. Good for you. And then Chase and Robinson. And that's because, again, Kyler has fallen out of the first at this point. Because if that were to have happened, CD Lamb would have been the 112. And that's what I was going to say. When you're at that 112 and you have that choice between like CD Lamb, I mean, well, it used to be Tua, but like people have sort of stepped back with the concussions and stuff. Like, do I take Dak Prescott or do I just take one of these top wide receivers between Lamb and AJ Brown or Waddle or something? And usually it ends up being the wide receiver. Though I do love having the 112 where I can go get Dak and CD Lamb or CD Lamb and AJ Brown. Like, I need like 2 out of those 3, and I just feel very, very happy looking at my team.
Definitely.
But yeah, like year to year, it's really not about the time. It's about the league where we hit that. It's funny, like where the QB thing hit the wall was like Baker Mayfield's Carson Wentz, where we pushed them up to QB2 because they were new, they were exciting. They did. Oh crap, those guys were really bad the next season. All right, so now we care about stability a little bit more, unless they are just like world beaters, because like that Mahomes just went all the way up, and that's when it also pulled into like I remember the non-point scoring season. Well, I could say off season because we're talking about the NFL, where it was just like, this is it. This is the point. If the Panthers move on from Cam Newton right now, quarterbacks are not safe. And then, like in a short period of time, we had Cam Newton and Josh Rosen happen. And then all of a sudden, valuing quarterbacks came a lot with stability. And that was the point to me where it also seems like not every starting quarterback was worth a first anymore.
Yep.
Like, so like, again, it's things like that. It's things the league shows you that push the league itself and then fantasy, on its coattails behind it in a certain direction more than it is something different year to year. Like the game itself doesn't change. Like, I don't think Dynasty itself is any different than it was 5 years ago. It's just that the NFL has changed a little bit. So we have to change the way we value players, but I don't think the game itself has changed much.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The only other thing I was thinking, and this is again more just what kind of how I brought up the quarterback thing, which is more of a trend, not a year-to-year thing, but just I think in that same amount of time, like as quarterbacks have been going this way, running backs have been going that like it used to be that running backs would make up a lot of those first round picks that were not going to quarterbacks, and now you're lucky if you can get one to sneak in the first round.
And again, that's absolutely just talent coming into the league, more or less. Well, like with running backs, that's what's been the problem. We haven't, like, we had 2017, and then it's just like, all right, well, we got 1 or 2 in 2018. 5 of them didn't work out like we thought they would.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2019, it's like, oh, Jacobs and Miles Sanders. Oh,
David Montgomery.
Yeah, and then like 2020 was fun, but really all we got was Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, and the eternal hope of DeAndre Swift.
And then 21, I'm like, we got a little excitement out of Najee, and then Javante, and like it hasn't happened. And now, Jonathan Taylor is still doing pretty well. We get Breece Hall, we got Travis Etienne, we now have Brejean. Cool. I combined Brejean and Robinson together for Brejean. And next year there's going to be 2 or 3, I think, are supposed to be very highly ranked running backs. Plus, man, Marvin Harrison Jr. Like the kids of the people we watched.
I know, that is so weird.
I know I'm old. I feel old. I've felt old for 20 years now.
But I know, but it's kids of guys who played in the 2000s. Like,
yeah, it's not kids we grew up watching. Like,
yes,
when Patrick Surtain Jr. came in, I felt a little old, but I'm like, I think I was probably like middle school for Patrick Surtain. I was a little younger, at least.
Yeah, like now it's starting to be where you're getting kids of guys that were playing when we were playing fantasy football. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like hardcore fantasy football. Like Marvin Harrison, we had on our teams every year.
Yeah, Frank Gore Jr. is going to be in the league next year, and soon, like Arch Manning is owned in a bunch of Devy leagues, even though I'm pretty sure he's still in high school. That's creepy, you guys. Maybe back off a little bit.
And I know I had it's defense, but Asante Samuel Jr. was wild for me as an Eagles fan, especially. We had Asante Samuel on our team for a few years.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're getting off of the we're old thing. All right, so I figured I should answer the question. I am in the Gusteau's division. Oh, so freaking funny. Brian Hart texted me the other day, and because he saw I was in Gusteau's, and he's like, I knew you would do something Disney. I almost joined Gusteau's, but then I saw there was Reese's, and I live near Hershey, so I figured I'd represent the hometown. And I'm like, so funny thing, I saw Reese's first, and I'm like, Reese's, I love Reese's. Oh, there's Disney. I got to go join that. So like we pulled like the ships crossing in the night, and I almost signed up for Honker Burger because I loved Doug as a cartoon. Like that cartoon was so freaking good. But then I saw like I'd have to just keep rolling with the Disney, and I'm a little sad I didn't see the Snuggly Duckling, which is probably a sleeper league, which is why I didn't see it. But like if the Snuggly Duckling existed, which I bought that t-shirt for, because I have the real Snuggly Duckling t-shirt, which is from Tangled, by the way, for you people.
I was just gonna ask, like, am I gonna get ripped if I ask what this is?
No, that's no.
Because I know there's things I haven't known before, and you're like, what is wrong with you?
No, they literally show that sign once. Like, I mean, like it's just a funny joke. Because it's a bunch of Viking mean guys, and it's Snuggly Duckling, Ugly Duckling. But I own the real shirt for that, like from Disney, like the Snuggly, and then now I bought it, so now I own the Scott Fishbowl Snuggly Duckling. So that would have made me happy to be in that. But I'm like, not going to be sad about Gusteau's to get a little Ratatouille going on. So that's where I am, and I thought I picked the 11 spot for drafting, but I apparently picked the 1.
Bad vision there.
I don't know.
You thought it was an 11, but it was actually a 1.
But also, if, like I said before, if you, Archman, thank you again, Frank. He lets me know that Arch Manning is in college, so you guys are not as creepy as you probably had him on your team last year. Don't whatever. You're still creepy. If you are not subscribed to the Fantasy Cares YouTube channel, we did a giveaway today. And before we did that, Scott came on and started getting a little teases for the scoring that's going on. And also said that there's the 1 to 4 might be the place to be, even though there is third round reversal. So I'm like, that's when I checked. I'm like, oh crap, I picked 11. Should I go check? I'm in the 1 spot.
What does that mean? That QB scoring is going to be boosted even more?
I don't know. He did not actually say.
I know he did tweet out, I think today, that he's working on. He's like almost got it finalized or something.
Yep.
Like that.
So, hey Rocky, if you're not subscribed to the Fantasy Cares YouTube channel, if you don't have that notification button clicked, you should go do that, because there might one day just be a random video of Scott Fishbowl scoring.
Okay, and I as we talked about, I do not have a division, but I have a feeling it's probably, if they are not, if it's available, that I think I'm going to probably end up with one of those fake, from TV or movie ones, if I can find something I like besides the banana stand.
I mean, you got to help a little bit more than that.
I didn't even go through all of them yet. There's so many. Like I'm not sure.
I know, and the real problem is all of the logos are so damn good.
I know they are.
They killed it this year. And I can't even claim a single one of these. I did absolutely none of them, because like when they started pumping these out, I'm like, I will just bring down the average of how good these are. So I'm not even going to bother. Yeah. Like they were killing it,
and they have a great logo for every single division. It's insane.
Yeah, like Bob's Burger is filled already. You're screwed on that one. I'm sitting here trying to scroll and look for some of the fake things to be like, what about this? What about this? Because I want to help. I want you to be settled, Rocky. I care about you. I care about your well-being.
I will promise before next show, I will have a division picked.
Well, I don't know if you're a Friends person, but Central Perk is almost full.
I did see Central Perk, but I think, it weren't. Well, I was leaning towards the back end. Is there a back end spot open there?
Let's
11,
see.
12, 10. It's usually where I've gone with a third round reversal.
11 is still open.
Maybe I should wait for Scott to come out with the scoring, though, before I decide what division I'm in, so I don't have to pick a spot. I guess you can pick a division without a spot, right?
Don't do that. If you're going to pick, it makes everyone's life easier if you just
That's pick. What I thought. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe if he's going to come out with the scoring soon, maybe I should wait for the scoring and then pick a division.
All right. I take back everything I said. The logo for Chuck E. Cheese is kind of scary.
The little mouse fish.
A mouse fish, yeah.
Yeah, I
That,
saw
that,
that.
that ain't
I
natural.
didn't
That
get
ain't
through the
natural.
whole alphabet, but I definitely got to Chuck E. Cheese. And
Yeah.
yeah, that one was weird.
All right. Well, I'm going to stop scrolling now because that's the end of our show sheet. So that's going to be the end of our show. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for watching along. If you weren't, why not? We were here for you, but you weren't here for us. And after all this time, I don't get why. Like, did we do something to hurt you? Did we're sorry. We didn't mean to. Okay. That was going too far.
We gave them a manageable show to listen to this week, Russ. Only an hour.
Seriously, and we weren't asking you to be here till midnight for an hour and 40 minutes.
Yes.
But before we do go, our stuff, patreon.com/tradeaddictspod. If you had fun watching along, this is what we do every single week for our patrons. You can just watch along and give us awesome things like Woof for Williams or the more sensible Whiff for Williams. Also, we have our awesome Discord chat, the Cool Kids Club. Hey, look, there's the Gustos. Oh, more people joined. And also everything else is just fantasy care stuff. You can still go sign up for Scott Fishbowl at scottfishbowl.com if you haven't yet. Go sign up. There's subscribe to all of social medias. We're giving away spots on every social media at this point. Sticking to Twitter because it makes our life just so much easier. But also the YouTube is very, very heavy in videos, clearly, and giving out spots because it's, again, just nice and easy for us to do.
Random thought that just popped into my head, Russ. Maybe he said this and I just missed it. Do you know how many spots there's going to be this year?
How many?
SFB
total
spots. Yeah.
No, he has not. So
okay.
That usually means it's probably going to be ridiculous, and he doesn't.
Oh, I'm sure it's gotten bigger. Like every single year I've been in it, and much bigger. Like I think it was like I started with 9, and I think it was like 1,200 then, and it was like 5,000 last year or something. Yeah.
There's 2 spots left in Krispy Kreme. Ooh, there's Krusty Burger. That thing scares me.
Ooh, Krusty Burger.
I
don't like Krispy Kreme.
Like,
I'm a Dunkin' guy.
Donut person in general, but like they're okay.
I'm not either, but if I'm gonna have a donut, I'm a Dunkin' guy. I'm not a Krispy Kreme guy.
I absolutely am not a Dunkin' guy, which is wrong because I go to Dunkin' multiple times a week. Mostly because my kids they love their bagels and hash browns. We go there for bagels and hash browns, and like I'll go to a bagel place and come back and they're like, these aren't Dunkin'. I'm like, these are real. These are real bagels. That's not real bagel. This is real bagels. All right. So go sign up for Scott Fishbowl. Go Fantasy Cares everything at Fantasy Cares org on just every single social media. But also at Fishbowl Merch. If you go look at them up on Twitter, the link for the merch site is there. You can... First of all, there's no TA13 because there's no TA12, and that's not going to happen, Ryan.
If you did have a TA12, would you skip TA13 because it's bad luck and just go to TA14?
If anything, I'm skipping TA12 to go to 13 because I explained at one point the only reason TA11 became into existence is because I run TA1 through TA10. And then the next league that I run is called 12 Olympians.
Oh, that's right. You needed to have, yeah.
And I needed that 11 because it was driving me nuts. So if anything, I throw TA 13 underneath. So maybe he's right. Maybe
I was just wondering,
anyway.
like some hotels skip the 13th floor, so maybe you would skip TA 13.
But it doesn't matter because I'm not thinking about that because there's not going to be another one. But yes, go do everything and all of that. And I don't know what to say anymore. So good night, everybody.
Good night, Russ.